Hello everyone. Hello. Um, this video, there are a lot of things I want to mention before I actually start talking about it. One thing that I think is quite funny is that I feel like the amount of people viewing videos in this channel is going up. But in the game, that does not reflect at all. I feel like the game is dying out. So if you are someone that doesn't play the game a lot and you still watch the videos, um, let me know why you don't play the game, or let me know what would make you play the game, because that is something I'm quite interested in. Second thing, this is the first of like 4, maybe 5 videos that I planned to make, that I mentioned in that video of the new chapter. So in this one, I will be talking about my history as a speed admin, which is not going to be as long as other ones, but I mean, we'll see how long it goes. I just started recording it, right? So we'll see. In this video, I don't think I'm gonna make chapters because I don't exactly have topics. I literally have no topics for this video. But for other videos like these, I will make chapters on the video, so you can just click around and listen to what you would wish to listen. This is also more of a podcast, by the way, so don't expect to be seeing action all over the place. Like here, yeah, that's not what's happening. But as I talk, I will be showing things that I'm talking about. So in this case, I mean, in other videos we will see, but in this case, I'll be talking about my history as a speed admin. I might be showing some forums or showing some tournaments or things that I may have done, whatever. So mostly a podcast, not much to see, but well, few things to see, not so relevant. I'll talk about them. So this is a good video for you to listen to in the background while you are playing some game, or I don't know, whatever. So let's get started. Let's do it. First of all, I think it is very important to give a sort of a history as to why I got to being a speed admin, right? So I think that's a good starting point. So first of all, and that is something that is important, I'm Portuguese, and what happened is the Portuguese server had not had speeds from like 2014 until 2020, something like that. And I started playing a lot again in 2016, 2017, which means I did not learn how to play in my own server. And obviously, I've always wanted to see it come back, and well, to just make it be an active server, right? Obviously. But we will leave that behind for now, and we will go back a bit more. Obviously, I will not go that deep into it on this one, because I also have a video planned that is just my history on the entire game, basically. So there are some things that are worth mentioning here, because they provide some context as to why I got here. But I obviously will not be talking about everything. So that is gonna be another video that you can look forward to watching. I can't really tell you when. I don't know either. Anyway, the first server that I mainly focused on was surprisingly .it. Not really .it, because I played and learned most in the BR server, but the players who I was learning with used to play in pretty much all the speed servers, which is something that is normal and still happens to this day. I mean, if you are a speed player that plays regularly, you don't play in only one server. You can be playing in a random round in a server, and then you win it, and then the round still has some hours until it's over, and you want to play something else meanwhile, so you might just look for another round. Whatever. You know what I mean. If you play speeds frequently, you know exactly what I mean. So we were basically playing around all the servers, and from that I could see fairly big differences between them, right? When it comes to settings and when it comes to how the moderators behave in general, which is something important for speed players, right? Because a speed, at least, well, considering the standard ones, right? A speed is something quite fast, 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever. So it makes a big difference a server that has a moderator on and a server that does nothing. At that time we were cheating a lot, so we were also getting banned a lot. And the only server that was basically banning us at the time was the Spanish server, and it was not even that consistent. But that's not really the point. The point is that me as a player, I started making insane suggestions already. In Spain, and we can go look at it, I am not quite sure when this was. What is this guy saying? I will look at it after. In Spain, I started making suggestions. I would guess it's in 2017, something like that. 2017, 2018, 2017. Yeah, this is mine. So this is a topic that I made. It's deleted user because of, I don't know, the account was deleted because of inactivity, I guess. So, a lot of things that I suggested myself, and were never done. And this was the beginning of it, I would assume. Around this time, maybe in 2018, maybe 1 year later. I also suggested something in Italy, some changes. Yes, it was 1 year later, basically 1 year later. So, I played a lot in both servers. In the Spanish server, we mostly found really good settings overall. And I just came here and I suggested a lot of new settings. And some changes in some of the rounds, which is... Those were fair. Those are pretty good, I would say. Were they ever done? No. Am I glad they were never done? Well, I don't know. I feel like in some things, the things that I was suggesting back then were a bit more biased, because I did not know the game fully and I was seeing it from the perspective of someone that is cheating or that doesn't really care about the playstyle of others or what others like to play. So at that time I was probably mostly just focused on playing high start rounds, maybe, and just low start, either very high start or a very low start, nothing in between, basically. So everything I suggested was basically that. Those were good rounds, but, well, nothing was ever done, which is fine, I guess. So, in the end, well, I mean, actually, they did something. The speed admin came here and opened a topic about suggesting rounds and things like that, and then he made one of the rounds that I made, in theory, because the settings were nothing like what I said. The round itself was nothing like what I said, and then he made 2 of them only, and then he just never made more of those again. Those rounds never came back. They never came back. So that was pretty sad. And yeah, that was the reality of trying to do things in this server. But the thing is, if it was only in this server, it would be good. But the reality is, in many, or like in most of the servers where I've tried doing things, I was basically just ignored. So this was the first one. This was the first time. And from here on, I mean, you can already understand that I would like to have a sort of a deeper involvement with the game and help in making the game better. Here already, in 2017. Which is quite a long time ago. That's 6 years ago already. I'm 19 now. So at the time I was 13. That is insane. And I was already doing more and saying more than many people a part of the support. So that's something. But the difference is that back then there were a lot of people commenting and people are actually active. Nowadays, not so much, but that's not something for now. So yeah, the first time I tried to do something, basically. Then we go on to Italy. I played in Brazil meanwhile, but honestly, I never really talked much in the Brazilian forum at that time. It was kind of scary in a way because it was very active. There were a lot of like spam topics and everyone was talking on it. Now it has died out a little bit, basically, as like every single forum. But yeah, it was very active back in the day, so I ended up never really doing much. But in Italy, however, I played a lot of rounds, and I mean, you can see it. I can go here and... No, that's the .NET server. Well, when it decides to load, you will see. But I played a lot of rounds back in the day. We would basically join as like a big team. We would always join as a big team. And I would play like the beginning, and then I would just leave. Because the rounds in Italy were pretty cool, honestly, in terms of settings. But they were extremely long. The shortest rounds they would do were like 6-hour rounds, and they would go up to 48 hours. Like it was literally insane. I mean, I can show you. I just need to go back like a few. Well, we are in 700. I probably need to go back like 500. Yeah. So your average 9-hour round. Yeah. Totally normal. 9 hour. This is 4 + 2, 6 hours. Yeah. Also 9 hours. You know what I mean at this point. This one also 6 hours. No, never mind. 8 hours. So the rounds were cool, right? But they were extremely long, so no one was actually playing them until the end. And I mean, when we were playing them until the end, it was just like 1 or 2 players out of the 5 that would be like conquering barbs for fun or something like that. I'm surprised we were not playing on these ones yet. This is all Leonida Ready Sparta. Let me see if I can find some round where I may have played. Maybe not. Oh, there's me. That's me. Anyway, I mean, I can look at the deck account. I'm pretty sure this is the same account as Teacher. I think it just got renamed, so it should have the statistics. But yeah, the point is, I've also been playing here for a long time, and I had played a lot of rounds, and there was a big flaw with most of them. That was, the rounds were already dead. I mean, there were a lot of players, but they were all shit, as they've always been in Italy. So something had to be changed, especially the number of members per tribe. It was always insanely big for no reason at all, and they never changed it. And yeah, you can see there's me winning a round in 2017. So yeah, that's all very old rounds, and all of those were extremely long. All of that length. So also here I wanted to make changes and to suggest doing things differently and just better overall. So I mean, you can see I suggested changes for literally every single round, like reducing the number of members per tribe, adding barbs, whatever. Literally any good possible changes that you may think of, I added here. At least back in the day, I thought they were good, right? I still do agree with a lot of these, especially the reducing the tribes, the limit. But again, absolutely nothing was done. Absolutely nothing was done. So, I mean, this was a guy in the staff, I think. So he just said, "Thank you for the proposals, but proposing doesn't mean that you will see the changes automatically." So it was basically a shithole at that time, and no one answered. No one said anything. It was terrible. It was just really bad. It was just really bad. So in the end, also nothing happened here in Italy, and my hope was basically dead for these servers at this point, for both Spain and for Italy. So I don't even know. I probably kept on playing and learning eventually. Maybe not that much, because I mean, you can't really be motivated if no one is listening to you, right? Especially if you are someone who really wants to make changes and to see the game flourish. But if you are the only one, it's not the most happiness-inducing thing. Let's just put it that way. So the next place that I tried doing things, right, was in the PT server, because the PT server restarted rounds in, I think the beginning of 2020, something like that. Let me see. This is one of the first ones, or is it not? Okay, yeah, here's here's when it began. See, the first round was this one. This was the first round, coming back of the speeds in the PT server, obviously me in first. And funnily enough, I also cheated in this round, and I was not banned. Typical of the Portuguese server. Anyway, this was an insane round, by the way. There were so many players. That was absolutely insane. I got conquered at first, then I restarted, and I still managed to do this. I think that was what happened. Anyway, that insane round, absolutely insane, and this just goes to show the potential of the Portuguese server. By the way, so many people, way more than 50, definitely way more than 50. Only 50 can appear in the top. It started with one village, 2k points, so you can see if the 50th guy has 40,000 points for villages, I mean, you can probably imagine how many people joined. At least like 200, 300. That, I mean, well, I'm not even gonna talk about this. Anyway, so, well, rounds in my server come back. What am I gonna do? Well, I will obviously try my best to make suggestions and to make it go smoothly, right? To make the server live again. But in the end, what actually happens? Well, if in the other servers we were mostly just ignored, in this one we were basically laughed at. And I mean we, because at this point it was not even just me anymore, because in the PT server, well, it revived at a time where a lot of people were playing again. Well, a lot of PT people, obviously. And, well, they were very excited about speeds. They were playing all the time. I was playing all the time. I mean, in PT, I have so many rounds, and I was first for very long on PT in the final ranking. I'm not anymore. I'm probably like third or fourth, something like that, and I have not played there frequently in a year, maybe a bit more, probably more, like 2. I think I played like 2 years, and I played almost non-stop. It was the COVID online classes time. That was insane. I was playing like every single round. I'm telling you, it was absolutely insane. It was very hype to have the rounds back, and I was playing with a lot of people. We had a group in Discord, and it was just fun. It was just great. We had a lot of people playing. As you can see, I mean, none of these rounds are the old rounds. So yeah, this was the first round. So I managed to get an insane amount of LP just playing constantly these days, literally just playing constantly. And it was fun. I had fun in the time. But the reality is that, well, it started getting repetitive. Because if at first, in the first times that there were rounds, let me see. In the first times that there were rounds, they were always like trying new things, trying different kinds of rounds. That quickly died out, and I mean, if you look at these names of the rounds, I mean, like from like here onwards, all the names have the same, all the rounds have the same name basically. So pretty much always the same type of rounds happening, always the same like 10 maybe rotating, and I was like, well, this is getting boring. It's always the same. It's always the same shit. So well, let's suggest some rounds, right? Let's give them what they need to work on making speeds better. So I come here and I open this topic in 2020, March. That's still really close to the time the rounds actually started. And well, it takes a lot of time for them to actually do anything. These models, a lot of them were models that I had already made, because I had already a document with models, and I was just making them like just like to save them basically for if something happens in any server or something, I don't know. So I just did that, and I dropped them all here, and I didn't stop for a while. And well, let's just say not much was done, right? But the reality is, I mean, I can't really blame them that much at that point, because a lot of things were done. 1 year later, obviously, 1 year later. But that's typical, right? In Portugal, everything is extremely delayed every time. So, yeah, I managed to talk to the speed admin at the time, and I was talking to him fairly regularly, I would say, even. And he was saying he would do rounds, he would do things, etc., etc. And I mean, at some point, he did do some things, but from there on, he did nothing, literally nothing. So, well, I kept on suggesting rounds, a lot of them with different start levels, which is completely fine, but they kept saying that it was way too hard to make it. It's insane. They would always give the biggest excuses ever. They were not even good, and well, it keeps going. I mean, there's 5 pages of this. You can see that the small things is what he answers, right? So I suggest a lot of models, a lot of things, and then I say, oh wait, in this round it is supposed to not be barbarian villages. When people restart, they should not become a barbarian village, do something. And then he says, oh cool, we did that. So when it comes to clicking a single button, those changes, he's totally fine with doing it. Those changes are fine. But when it comes to actually adding models, no, it doesn't happen. So, well, I mean, I still kept going. I have so many things here. I have so many ideas of models. Well, and the truth is that most of them exist in Italy nowadays. I believe. Maybe some of them don't, but maybe some of them I also just think are not the best idea, really. Anyway, they are mostly done. But in Portugal, not much was done. Even though we were pushing them to do it, and I was not alone. I had some people liking my posts, my suggestions, saying they like the ideas that I make. I suggested everything. I suggested concepts of tournaments, experimental days where they could test out new rounds, so many things, and there were like even other teams happening in the PT server, people trying to make teams, me trying to invite more people to the server of Discord to grow a community, and it was going well. It was genuinely going well. But it all came crashing down because, I mean, as I said, the rounds were all the same. People started just knowing each other, all of them. So they just started like getting bored of playing against the same players every time, which is kind of flawed in my opinion, because there's always something you can learn, especially if you are like the people who were playing here at that time. They were not the best players. But the reality is that at some point we had really good fights and it was fun. But it all basically died out because, well, not much interest from the administration. And we made so many topics, like regarding tournaments, regarding problems that could be fixed and that could be, I don't know, could just be made better, right? Let me see if there is a way to filter by my own topics. Surely is. Right, because they at some point also made topics for each round that started, so there's a lot of things from them. So yeah, I mean, as you can see, there's quite a lot of topics. I mean, even me in the beginning asking why there are no speeds even before the things came back. I was always trying. I was always trying to do things, basically. And, I mean, as I said, when it was little things, they would actually do it. When it was bigger things, or slightly bigger things, they would completely ignore it. However, well, with all of that, it's not like we fully gave up. We always tried to do things, especially as a speed community, because at this time, as I was saying, the game was not exactly fully dead, or at least it did not feel like it. Throughout all of this, there were tournaments. In 2020, there was a 10v10 tournament in the international server. It was a really cool tournament. There were some problems with it. I might talk about it in the other video, not here. And there was the 8v8 tournament on the French server. And in that one also gives us an example of hypocrisy by the moderation of the PT server. And you will get used to me shitting on the moderation of the PT server. I'm sorry, it's what I do. The mods of the FR tournament back in the day, they messaged the staff of the PT server, and they asked if they could make a team for the tournament, if they would get a team to represent Portugal or Brazil. The stuff is the same in both servers, or it's basically the same. So they asked if that could be done, and they said yes. The reality is that they didn't even post an announcement or didn't even try looking out for it at all. And when we confronted the community manager, she just said she was not made aware of anything. Well, but they did answer. I literally have proof that they did answer, and they said they would do it. So all of this sort of ignoring and sort of an egotistical point of view from the staff over the players led to the speed server dying overall. Because, I mean, just look at all these concepts, all these things with zero answers, a lot of views, zero answers, everything. Like, there was not much interest at all in anything. I mean, when there was interest, they did nothing. And now they were like trying to do things. They made a tournament. It's also a complete flop. No one is playing it. But basically, it just doesn't work because the staff doesn't want it to work. That's the best way I can explain. I mean, we tried doing so many things, suggesting new ideas, new concepts of tournaments, new rounds, new whatever. We even like tried sort of not directly attacking, right? But like making topics, asking, okay, why is nothing being done? We're asking for it. There's people wanting to play. We want to make things better. We want things to be done better. And well, to that we were most of the times just answered something that I think is very iconic of the Brazilian and the Portuguese server. That is, we are doing the best we can. If you don't like it, we will have to close the server down. So we were just met with threats, basically. So instead of being thankful for the activity of players, and for players wanting to make the game better, and to make suggestions, and to do all of this, they would instead threaten us to close the server of Speeds again, and they would just ignore it once again. So, well, my time in the PT server ended. Because, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna suggest? What's the point? There's no point. There's literally no point. They're doing nothing. But, something good happened, because the tournament that I mentioned earlier, the 8v8 tournament, it was also hosted in collaboration with the Italian server. And in the Italian server, a new community manager had joined the team, and he had been swapped by the previous one. The previous one, I mean, just like a lot of community managers, still nowadays, I suppose he was just burnt out. I mean, you saw it. I had that big topic asking for a lot of changes, and most of them were not that complex to make. I think that in like, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe, they would actually change the settings. Probably. I mean, I don't know. I'm not fully sure. I can't comfortably talk about this because I am aware that the planner of speeds in the internal tools was a little bit worse back then. So maybe it would take a little bit more time. But I mean, there's people asking for it. Like, you have a staff on your team, you might as well just do it and improve the quality of life of the game and make people want to play more. I don't see why not. But well, he was burnt out, and I suppose he didn't really want to bother with it. But the reality is, a lot of the servers are like that. That is not the point here, though. The point is about speed admin. So, with this new community manager, things changed a lot. I actually started talking to this community manager a lot, and well, if we go back to Italy, let's ignore PT for good, you will see that in the speed section, Well, there's a fuck ton of luck. There is a lot of luck, and I only joined speed admin here. I only joined speed admin here, so yeah, there's a lot of things, and for the first time in I don't know 4 years, 5 years maybe. For the first time in 5 years, I was actually answered, and I was actually met with a willingness to do something, not only by the community manager, but also by the staff members, which is insane. Normally, the community manager is the grand dictator and he does everything and he allows things to happen, or he doesn't, or he does whatever he wants. But here, no. Here, I was met with a lot of interest. At first, it was a bit messy because at first, I mean, at first things are a bit awkward. CC was a new community manager. Things can't just happen all at once. So that's totally normal. But it got to a point where I was suggesting a lot of changes. Really a lot of changes. Even put the speed Discord server here, and a lot of people were interested and joined, and I was supported by the Italian staff team, and this was just an insane change. Like, compared to other servers, it was just absolutely insane. I mean, you can look at it. Feedback regarding special rounds, like the community manager directly saying thank you, and they actually did things. Then a topic for changing the current rounds. Then they made the topic for each round to actually organize it better, and then they eventually added all of this. They did a really good job. Not only community manager, and this was the first time I had ever seen this. I mean, I can go back and show you. All of these older rounds have like some answers, and they're all from me asking things to be changed, and well, they were indeed changed, and they were like, okay, we planned the round at this time with the changes proposed by the deck. Cool. It felt good. It genuinely felt good to be listened for the first time, and that's just sad because we are playing a fucking browser game. There's not much interest in a browser game, right? So, what's the point of a browser game if you are not even going to listen to your players, right? So you can see there are so many conversations in so many of these topics, so many things that I asked to be changed, so much everything, and it was all answered, or it was mostly answered, right? Towards the end, they started like losing their interest, kinda, but not really losing their interest. They were just more occupied. So it was insane. I was, for the first time, being answered by a support team. I was directly in contact with them. I was exchanging Discord messages with them. I was going to call with members of the support team. It was insane. It was absolutely insane because it felt good. It just felt really good. It was nice. It was really nice, honestly. So, well, after I became 18 in the 5th of July in the previous year, I applied to become a speed admin. And, well, of course, that's a bit weird. We are talking about a random Portuguese guy becoming a speed admin in an Italian server. How does that happen? Why would that ever happen? You know, doesn't make sense. I don't even speak the language. It would not make sense at all. But in the end, well, you know what happened. So in the end, they let a random foreign guy become a speed admin, and nowadays I literally have basically every single permission inside of the support tool. I'm not bragging or anything. I'm saying they have given my trust to me, and I've definitely put in the effort to make things better for them, and I continue to do so, it's great. It's great. It really is great, and this was a complete turning point for me as a player, because for the first time I was seeing what I asked for be done. It doesn't make sense it really, for someone who doesn't play this game and who plays like, I don't know, maybe some other game where the devs are active and are actually listening to the players and doing things, it might seem very weird what I'm saying right now, but it was absolutely amazing to just be heard. Unironically, just the fact that I suggested things and they would be done, that was insane for me as a player, because it was fun. It was great. We were making rounds better. We were making rounds more competitive. More players were interested. The staff was interested. They were even playing. It was great. It was great. I was teaching them how to play. I taught Lodi how to play, basically. I taught him to use keypress and showed him some videos. It was honestly really good. Really, really good. And well, I did join the team. It was funny because if you look at other servers, sometimes you have to apply to become a moderator of forum before actually becoming anything related to in-game mod. And I mean, maybe in my case it's different because I instantly became a speed admin. Instantly. I mean, in the Italian server this always happens. If you apply to become a game moderator, you will instantly become a game moderator. There's no bullshit of you are a forum moderator for a test period, and then when we trust you, we will give you game mod. That shit doesn't happen. That's complete bullshit. So at that time, I was just given everything, basically. I mean, it was funny because I applied in the 5th of July, as I said. Then the community manager was like moving, so we couldn't do much. But I mean, as soon as he could, he got to it, and I don't know. He evaluated the application, and then we talked a bit. And fair enough, I became speed admin. And in the day that I was given access to the permissions, well, to the tools, I was told at first, well, don't tell anyone you are admin yet. We'll tell everyone when you are ready or something like that. And like half an hour later, I became admin officially, and we were already sending messages everywhere. I thought that was pretty funny. It's absolutely insane seeing how fast things went here compared to how things go in other servers. Because in other servers, I mean, in the PT server, you have to become, in the PT and BR, you have to become a forum moderator for like 9 months, maybe more time. But the forum is completely dead, so what the fuck are you even moderating? You are moderating the ghosts, I guess. So it's terrible. And here, I just became speed admin instantly, and I could instantly get to work, right? So I had some more suggestions in some rounds, and that's the first thing that I did. I think this is that. No, never mind. Where is it? Speed admin update, something like that. I'm looking for a topic. I don't really. It's not this. It's also not this. This is not even when I was speed admin. I think. No, this is 2023. Never mind. I can't really find it. But oh, this, I found it. So I even made a full list of all of the changes I made to all of the existing rounds. I made them better. I made everything great. Made some renaming changes that were necessary. It all looked great. Well, I sadly stopped doing this because there is no interest. There's no interest, and that's absolutely insane to me. At that point, I was, for the first time, actually in power, and well, along the years, I've always seen interest by people to see changes, to care about the rounds, to even like discuss settings. It was insane. However, there was no interest. There was no interest. I did so many things. I can even show you this. Where is it? No. Specific updates, specific changes. Like here, I was saying everything. A new model was created. Here's the settings. Something was changed here. Like, I was doing an insanely good job, I would say, and I don't think anyone can tell me otherwise. I was literally just doing what I had always wished other speed admins to do. If some other speed admin back in the day had done anything like this, I would have absolutely gone crazy and I would never even consider playing anything else, probably. I was so addicted to the game at that time, I was just not playing more because I kind of couldn't. I mean, I had some interest at first, added some rounds suggested by players, right? You can see it, suggested by players, suggested by player. Anyway, there was some interest at first, but the reality is it quickly died out. It quickly died out. And even though we did so many things, and that's what I'm gonna go through right now, well, I already started going through. Things have just died out, really, for multiple reasons. But, well, I can keep going and showing you things that I've done. At first, it was important to make those changes to just, well, to do all of this, make all of the rounds playable, right? Because some of them felt a bit weird, some of them had some bugs, things happened a bit weirdly, but we fixed it. I mean, I fixed it, right? So with all of that, a lot of things changed, because back then the descriptions looked like this. Let me see. 22 is already me, 16 to, I don't know. No, the test is definitely not relevant. So this is how the things looked before I became speed admin, and they looked great, honestly. Image, click for settings, and I mean, extremely simple. That's kind of all you need, honestly. But then I even made an update, and nowadays I think it looks much cleaner. There is, I mean, there should be an image here, but the guy who made the images stopped making the images, and honestly, they're not very relevant, so it's fine. But here, yeah, you now have a small description in both English and Italian, and you have the settings still, obviously. And we did this for every single round. At that time, I had like 50, maybe 50 rounds. We had a document in Excel, and I can show you that. Where is it? Where is it? Here. Right. So we had something similar to this. Now this is different. But when I joined as speed admin, where were we? Honestly, I am not too sure. I think we were for sure like here. No. Maybe here? Maybe here. Maybe we had until here. I'm not sure we had more than this. I don't think so. I think Crazy Bash was already added by me, PvP Madness. I think this was all added by me. So we had like 26 models. Then I did something insane. And I sadly do not have the archive of that, because that was something that was deleted. That's quite sad. But there are models that can be saved as global in the tools, and well, there were a lot of them saved, right? The Italian server had a lot of rounds, so they had a lot of rounds saved, even more than I thought of. They had many more models saved that I had never even seen. So I just went through all of them, literally went through all of them, and I was like, okay, this one looks cool, this one looks cool, this one looks cool, this one is kind of shit, this one looks cool. So here you can see, I mean, I went through like a lot of models, I added some, the others I deleted, I did a lot of things eventually, and I added some other rounds. Yeah, and eventually added some rounds from PT, from BR, from Turkey, like just rounds that are more, I don't know, that I've played more over the years. So that's or rounds that I've had like a random idea to make, like here, this one. So we're at like 67 rounds, and doing the descriptions for all of those, and making the topics, and doing all of this, that already took a bit of work. That it did. I can't say it didn't. But, well, I was nowhere near finished. And I still am nowhere near finished. So, my big plan was to have the Italian server as a sort of a hub for for the entirety of the speed players, right? My objective is not to steal the players from other servers, and that is something that I will also talk in the history of Duck video. I will talk about so many things there. I don't know how I'm gonna record that one all at once. It will be insane. I might have to make like a part 1 and a part 2. I don't know, but yeah, I had the plan to just make the Italian server be a server that has at least a little bit from every single server, even from dead servers, even from the Swiss server, and even from the Swedish server. How many of you listening to this right now know about the existence of a Swedish server? I bet not many. So yeah, I really wanted the Italian server to be just the best possible. And I'm not even talking about tournaments yet, I'm just talking about rounds. So, I don't think this was the first thing I did, but one thing that I did was going through all of the Italian rounds, because, well, the Italian rounds were a big part of, well, Italy. And not only Italy, I mean, a lot of other players, mostly foreign players, honestly, mostly foreign players were the ones winning the rounds in Italy. So as you can see here, I went through a lot of rounds, really a lot of rounds, and I made most of the models. Most of these are models that you can see nowadays. The ones that are deleted are obviously not. They were deleted either because they were very similar to some other round, or they were just not interesting enough. I mean, if someone comes back to me and goes to look at the settings of that round, and it's like, oh, actually interesting, then, well, they can just let me know and I will make it. But, well, I did all of this, and I went through all the rounds, and I restored them, which is insane. And, I mean, not only that, but I started getting even more rounds from other servers. So, FR, Spain, PT, IT editing things, like, so many things I started getting from everywhere. Like, as you can see, like .se, it was absolutely insane. It was absolutely insane because it took a lot of work to get all of this, and to make the models, to make the topics, to make the descriptions, to do all of this. It took a lot of work, but it's done. It's done, and it honestly feels good. I spent so much time doing all of this, and I do feel like I, at this point, have most of the rounds I would like to have at this point. These Z's would mean that they are not yet saved, but these are actually all saved, the ones that are here. Well, I still have about 50 more models that I would like to make, but at this time, I don't see a reason to, which is kind of sad. I mean, at this point, I have over 200 rounds, and I really do not feel like there is a need for me to make more. For obvious reasons, right? It will not feel repetitive, regardless. It doesn't feel repetitive at all. But I would still like to have that because, I don't know, it's just great to have more diversity, always. It feels nice to just randomly join around and have to deal with different settings, things you've never played with before. It's great. It's not necessarily things you've never played with before, but maybe just a combination of things you've never seen before, and that makes it so you have to adapt and do things in a different way. It feels great. It honestly feels great. And it's a big shift between servers like France, where back in the day it was made to be extremely competitive, and extremely competitive was a synonym of N1. So every round would look the same, N1 every single time, N1 with cheap nobles, N1 with fucking Watchtower, who cares? It's N1. It's always the same thing. Here, we completely changed that. I mean, I did, mostly. And now Florfake as well is on the support team and he does some things. But, I mean, compared to all of this that I've done, not much, right? But, I mean, I'm not complaining. But the reality is, this took an insane amount of time. And it's done. And me, as a player, looking at this, I feel like I've done what I could at this point. Because if me as a player, if me from like 5 years ago was wanting to play rounds, this is exactly what I would like to see. I would be playing rounds every day, and I would be checking the settings, and I would be playing, and I would be like, maybe this setting is not very good. Let's suggest it to be changed, and then I would suggest a change, and then like if speed admin was like answering and telling me, oh, this is good, this is bad, this is like, it would be insane. It would be insane to have had that. But now I am the one who does that, so it's absolutely insane, and I've sort of done all of this for myself, right? Because me as a player, I look at this and I'm extremely proud. The thing is, well, as I've mentioned, the speeds have kind of died out. People don't play the game anymore. They don't care, and if they do, they play in very weird ways. That is not the point here, but yeah, that's all I'm gonna say for that. I will talk about that in another video. But a lot of work, not much of a response. Let's just say that. There's even like a full form of like settings that you can like suggest rounds with. There's a few suggestions, not too many. Like everything can be done, and I am here to help the players realize exactly that everything can be done, that the game is insanely fun, and I'm always looking for suggestions. But I mean, as you can see, discussion, there is one answer, and it's from me. It's sad. It's quite sad. It's quite sad. And even things like this, I would post like the leaderboard of CW Speeds every month. I have not done that for a while now, because it doesn't feel like I have to, because it doesn't feel like anyone wants me to. It doesn't. There is not much of a reason for me to do that. It's not like I'm like getting demotivated and I will stop planning rounds and I will disappear. That will not happen. But it doesn't feel like I have to do this much. It feels like, for me, I'm already satisfied with what I've done, because I'm also not a player anymore. I mean, I am, obviously, and I am a player before a speed admin. That's why you see me playing in the YouTube videos I record, and not talking about this that I'm talking right now. But it is something that took a lot of effort, and it's something that, I mean, looking at this, I'm like, okay, I feel like I've achieved what I wanted to achieve, right? But I mean, if someone comes out and starts hyping me up to do things, well, that's perfect. I mean, I will probably be hyped again, and I will probably be wanting to do things. It's really good. So, that is it for the rounds. I think I've mentioned everything I would like to mention regarding rounds. Let's talk about tournaments, and I mean, you already can imagine what I'm gonna say here. We're not very successful. They were not, and this all comes from the lack of players, right? I mean, here, like in the beginning, this is pretty much all me before becoming a speed admin. Scheduling private rounds, it was very well organized. It was great. It was honestly great. But tournaments, let's see, international tournaments, special events. Daily sprint leader. Nah, I don't need to click there. So, special events. A lot of these don't really matter. Let's just look at the big international tournaments. The attempts at it, at least. Private tournament, non-official, 3v3 tournament. This was made by me. Before I was speed admin. This was insane. An insane collaboration with CC. He was such, I mean, he still is. But he is such a great guy for having let me literally host a tournament while I'm not a speed admin. It's insane. The fact that this happened. But, well, the tournament itself was not so great. And, I mean, that can clearly be seen. And where's the... Here. There's this topic. This thing. You can see the teams. And in theory, I mean, you have... There are a good amount of teams. There are, like, good names here. Recognize the players, like these guys. These guys are known. These guys. Obviously my team. But in reality, what actually ended up happening is these guys disappeared. These guys mostly disappeared. These guys actually played. They were like the only team. These guys all disappeared. These guys, they literally never messaged me again till this day. After registering, I don't think I've ever talked to any of them after that. Anyway, these guys, maybe they played the game, not sure, and then they disappeared. These guys, they actually played their games, and they were extremely nice guys. but they were bad. So the bad team was like the active team, and these guys just disappeared. So, it was basically a game made by winning by forfeit. Yeah, it was not the greatest tournament ever, and that was kind of the beginning of the end, because this tournament made sense at all levels. It was a tournament that came after the 8v8 tournament in 2021, and that tournament was a bit of a failure, and it started to become a bit of a failure because Teams of 8 is a lot, but that's not the reason why the tournament crumbled down. I will talk about that in the deck history as well. Holy shit, that video will be a banger. Will probably be a bit more paused, because I will be like noting the the things I'm talking about and the timestamp. But anyway, the idea of this tournament was good. It was overall good. There's no no possible discussion about this, because it's a team of 3 tournament after a tournament with actually a good amount of players, but teams of 8. Our settings were good. Everyone liked the settings, and everything was well done. Everything was very well done. Even in terms of planning it, I was making like a chat for every single match, and I was putting the captains of the teams there, and they were like discussing when the better time to play the round is. It was great. This had not necessarily always happened in other tournaments. I feel like I organized things very well, even though I was not a speed admin, by the way. So, yeah, not really the biggest success. Not really. Then, 1 month after I became a speed admin, I came up with this. And I mean, this is big. There were a lot of things here. It was another big tournament like the one in the previous year. The idea was really good. I mean, another N1 round for the settings. It was great. And at this time, I mean, not necessarily at this time. That also comes from behind, from before. The idea was like to comment on the matches, like on Discord. We were like literally seeing the variation of points to see what players were building, and we were commenting on it, and we were commenting on people getting catapulted and OD changes and reports if we had someone inside of the round like streaming or sending the reports or something like that. It was insane. These times were absolutely insane. However, this big tournament, right, it was good. The idea was good. Well, however, let's just say it did not go so well. And again, there were a lot of people playing, in theory, right? Because if I go here, oh, where is it? I will pause this so you aren't listening to anything while I look for it. Here, I found it. These were the teams playing. As you can see, they are not a lot. But I mean, in theory, if everyone was to play, the rounds would be cool. I mean, the idea is cool. It's really cool. But the reality is that it did not really go the best. Because this team disappeared. I can kind of say that that's my fault, but I mean, I don't think it's really my fault. I was always trying to schedule games and doing things. I tried, but everyone just disappeared. Legit, everyone just disappeared. This team disappeared, and this team ended up just losing. Then it was for this team to play against this team in the final, a best of 3. It never happened, because this team just disappeared. So in the end, it was something very similar to the 3v3 tournament. A team just wins because all the others disappeared, basically. Which is, again, very sad and very disappointing for a game like this, because there have always been people waiting to see cool things happen in speed, and, well, let's say, I am definitely some years later than I should be. But it's sad because nothing happens. The reality is that, well, these were the big official tournaments that I tried to make. Well, except for this one. This one was a bit more of a success, but it also kind of wasn't. Oh, and by the way, I made this for the 8v8 tournament of 2021 that I had mentioned. I myself made this, and I mean, as you can see there's a bit of a mess here. As you can see, this team still had to play against this team. So this team made 0 games the entire tournament, I think. Italy made 1, maybe, and they lost. So that's another problem. Here, this team was disqualified. This team was... I don't even know what this team was. This team was shit. No one was playing. This team was good. This team was banned. Yeah. This team was cheating. That's very typical. This team was actually pretty interesting. This team was inactive completely. This team was also good. So we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 teams that were actually playing in this tournament, which was actually, I mean, that's not bad considering the size of the teams. But well, the reality is that after the tournament, a lot of them died out. This team disappeared completely. This team mostly disappeared. This team disappeared. I've never even talked to some of these people again. They completely died. This team also, CC. There's some guys here that I still talk to. Voloda. Hello, Voloda. You're probably watching this. Oh, and Radim Galushka still exists. Definitely. But the reality is that most of them disappeared. And even these guys. Nowadays, they basically don't exist anymore. And after the tournament, and after what happened, which I will not talk about here, I will keep you waiting for the next video. Things just went downhill. But I mean, even I made this before becoming a speed admin, so I was helping with setting everything up at that tournament. It was great. I was already getting power, let's put it that way. Anyway, going back to what I was talking about, tournaments. The 1v1 tournament, it was really good. It was really good because a lot of French people joined. And that's it. That is literally why. You can even see, I put the place where the person is from, the country. So it was a great tournament. It was a really good tournament. At first. Because at first, the more active people were playing their games. They were hyped. They were scheduling the matches. I did this like I did the other 3v3 tournament that I talked about. So there was one match. There was one chat for every single match. So you can imagine me moving like 20 plus chats at once, trying to organize things, telling people, come schedule your match, come do this, come do that. The reality is that most of them took an extremely long amount of time to schedule things, and those who didn't, well, they quickly got through their matches, and they waited forever. They waited. They had to wait forever. Anyway, in the end, things played out. The tournament lasted for much longer than it should have, and a lot of these players, like, they just disappeared. So the win was just given to another player, and then there were also people that just disappeared at the beginning, and then I still changed the players, and I got some new ones that would like to play. Anyway, it was a mess in terms of organizing. It took a lot of time, really a lot of time. But it was overall great. This was like my biggest success when it comes to tournaments. I mean, especially considering it was 42 players. But as you can see, there isn't a winner. There kinda isn't a winner. I played the match against Mr. French and I won. It was great. But then against the only skills guy, I mean, and this is also, I shouldn't be mentioning this here. I will probably mention it again in the history of like. This guy was like sharing his account with another guy, and they were like cheating and shit like that. And then I played against him, and it was messy. It was very messy. In the first game, I think I was stream sniped. In the second game, I don't even know what happened. I am not like I'm not like saying, oh, I'm the best player ever, I deserve to win, no one else can beat me. They beat me, definitely. I just don't know under which circumstances. I can't be fully sure that they weren't cheating because I was playing, I was not moderating, and I don't even know who played in the account because they were account sharing. This guy and the Romanian guy, it was a mess. So this tournament also kinda never ended. It's a complete mess, as you have probably understood until now. I still hope that one day I will be able to finish a tournament without teams disappearing and shit. But the reality is that organizing this was hard because the commitment of players is completely different. There are players that were using every single opportunity to practice, to play 1v1s, to play against their friends who want to practice, to play against possible opponents, to play against everyone. And there were just other people that were the cause of this taking so long to happen. So they could only play at specific times in specific days, which is fine, right? But it really stalled the tournament a lot, and those matches, most of the times the result was certain. Like, you had a guy that could only play in X time of the week, or like in X day, at X hour or something. And then he would be playing against a guy that, well, he's played like every time he can. So the match didn't even need to happen at that point. And now looking back at it, it kind of didn't, because most of those slightly inactive players, they just disappeared. And even the active ones, they also disappeared. So it's only a matter of active or inactive at that point. But yeah, big mess, basically, these tournaments. Then, I mean, I also had the tournament here, an idea. This idea is so good. I wanted to make a league of speeds, as you have the leagues of LoL, the LEC, the LCS, things like that. I would like to have something like this for speeds, and this is such a good idea. Like, it's insane. The plan is very well done, but yeah, it will probably never be done because there are no players. There are no players. But the idea is insane. The idea really is insane. And if you want to, you can look at this and then let me know what you think about it. But it really is insane. It really is insane. Anyway, let's go back to the special events, and that is actually something that I'm also kind of proud of. And starting with CC, by the way, he's done a really good job with events. We have done events that basically split the day in 3, and that's basically the classic Italian event at this point. And I have never seen that be done anywhere else. I had seen non-stop rounds before in events, like in the Spanish server they would make like 2 rounds per day, and then there was like a tournament in 2017 or 16, I don't fully remember, where they made rounds non-stop for like 4 days in the end of the year, and then there was like a leaderboard. That was great, but this here takes it to another level. We are splitting the day in 3, night, morning, and just evening / afternoon or day, whatever. And there are different leaderboards for those times. And I mean, the first editions of that I probably won, realistically. Yeah, I won some. I won 2 of the 3, and it was great. The idea is really good, and we keep on doing it till this day. I mean, we are already planning to do it again, by the way. Don't tell anyone. It's not announced yet, but it's here. Look, you can prepare. December will be big. December will be really big. Anyway, yeah, it was really good. This idea is really good. So there's that, and a lot of that has been done. That has been done a lot of times. Then another tournament formats have been attempted by CC. This is still not by me, by CC and by Lodi. Basically, this was like a 1v1 tournament, but without actually rushing or like sprinting or anything. You would just be given the same amount of troops as your opponent, and you would just play until one of the players has no troops or is conquered, because there were nobles, which is interesting. So you would have to snipe, or you would have to just clear an opponent, or I mean, everything you can think of, kinda. It was great. It was honestly great. The idea is great. It was never done again because Yeah, there's no interest. There is no interest. Anyway, it was cool. The idea was really cool. Um, then there was like a speed league attempt. One team registered. I mean two. There was Quack and this team, which is basically like people from the support. These guys were from the support and their friends. And then my team, and we just stomped them. Yeah, that was not the most fun ever, but well, yeah, as you can see, not much interest for a big tournament. Yeah, that kind of just confirms it, sadly. But yeah, then I came back and I started making a lot of things as well, like a day where every round is 1 hour, a day where every round is a type of round. So I didn't just copy the things that were done before. I came up with different things myself. This one was really cool. This one I'm really proud of. For last December, this was great. There were special rounds for the tournament, basically. Holidays League, that's how I called it, with a format as well. And all the rounds were made from zero by the support team. I think maybe there was one by me, but they were mostly not done by me, and they were quite interesting. The times of the rounds, I don't know where they are. They are not here. But anyway, I also planned like special rounds during the weekends of December, things leading up to Christmas, which was great. And there were like 24 hours, one per week. And in the peace days, there were slower rounds, things that would let players enjoy playing around, even if they are not the best, and just kind of chill, which is kind of the spirit of the December holidays, right? You're just chilling. And so I really do think I did a really good job at that. It was great. This tournament, this event, I would say this was like the best special event I've ever made, because it really feels good, and it felt nice to see the players enjoying. I mean, let's look at it. Can I even find it though? Because it was a while ago. It will take a bit. Let me see. Okay, we are getting somewhere. So, I mean, there were just like random rounds, special rounds sometimes. We were even like giving prizes in some of them, like experimental rounds, experimental day, and there's the Christmas rounds. Good prizes, new settings, or like different settings, and the rounds. This one was not so competitive, but most of them were pretty cool. Christmas night, like just like a peaceful round. It was great. It honestly was great, and I made this mostly because I remember playing on the Hungarian server, and it was so great. The holiday times there, they would always make like a long round, and it would feel really great to just chill and play. And here I kind of adapted that and made it in my own way. So I can say that this is something that I'm definitely proud of. Very proud of. This was great, honestly. Then that was the last big thing that I've done, honestly. We started also making a special round every 250 rounds now, which is a cool concept. It's something that I've kind of taken from the Netherlands server, the Dutch server. They make a special round every like 50 rounds, something like that, but they only have like 1 or 2 rounds per day. We have like 11 or 12 sometimes, so it makes more sense to 50. And that's why there are so many fucking things here. There's 797, 98 at this point. They are generally great. A lot of people come to play them, but they are not like the most hyped thing ever. Because in general, nothing is the most hyped thing ever at this point. Not many people play at all, and it's not only on my server. It's in basically every single server. The latest thing we did was this, the Daily Sprint Championship. It was 1 round per day, and 1 round per day, 1 hour, and it was a very cool idea as well, I would say. It was fun. And I mean, the thing is, I really do look at this as a player, and I'm happy. I'm really happy with what I see, because these are all things that I would play or spend a lot of time on, at least, if I had more time or if I wanted to play more. I mean, I was more worried in moderating, right, rather than actually playing. But yeah, it's something that looking at, it really makes me think that I've done a good job and that I've been doing a good job. This year has been a bit more AFK, but also a lot of things are not here. We do things like cheap day very frequently, like just a day with like cheap rounds. We do this very frequently, but we don't even announce it at this point because it doesn't feel like there is a need to. Like the forum is completely dead when it comes to speed, or mostly dead. There are some reactions, but mostly it's the community manager just supporting me because he's a great guy. Yeah, there's not much interest. So that is kind of where it ends because there's not much more to say. I would like to do more, and I can guarantee you there is no other speed admin in the history of this game that has done as much as I have done. Maybe I'm being biased. Maybe I'm being like egocentric or something. I mean, I don't think that's the way to put it. But I really don't think there has been anyone that has done as much as me, and I've only been here for like a year and a bit more than a half. Like a bit less than a half, I mean. So, I mean, I've done everything. I've done special events. I've done tournaments. I've expanded vastly the number of rounds. I've done so many things, and it feels great to have done all of this, definitely. And it's great looking back at all of this and seeing that players have overall enjoyed it, and that players have had a lot of fun with things that I've done, and that really is the objective overall. But the reality is that it's quite underwhelming because I would like more people to be playing, right? Because it's, in the end, it's quite sad looking at all of this and seeing all the effort that I'm putting into it and simply not many people playing it. It's quite sad. But, well, in the end, I have nothing to do but to cope with that. And I can go over some of the causes of that, and I will in future videos. So stay tuned for that, because this one is ending. Well, I am back to add something in this video, because when I recorded this video, I recorded it all at once, and I was not really expecting to be out of support right now, but I am, and I'm not gonna talk about why here. I released a video about that right before the new year, so if you would like to watch that one, you're still in time. I don't know when this one is gonna be released, so yeah, I know it will be released after. But anyway, I'm here to conclude the history of me as a speed admin, and to conclude that, there are only 3 new things to be mentioned. First of them, 2 of them are simple, right? But first of them is my final attempt at making an international event, right? So lately, say, well, 2 months ago, 1 month ago, something like that, I had been in talks with some Brazilian people, and wait, didn't I make a video about this? I think I did. I think I made a video announcing the tournament. You might have seen it, maybe not. But I was in talks with some Brazilian people, and I saw that they were interested in playing some tournament, maybe, or just in speeds in general, with their own tribe of worlds, their own tribe that is based on playing worlds, because they have much more of a connection with the players than people who play speeds have. And yeah, this is the announcement for it. You can look at it more deeply. I will not talk this deeply about it here, just gonna go through it quickly. But yeah, the idea of the tournament, in my opinion, very nice. The main idea was that it would be a speed tournament, but not for speed players, including some restrictions in how many good players can play. Where is that? I'm not sure where that is. It doesn't really matter. You can look at the tournament itself more deeply in this video. I hope I remember to put it in the description of this one. But anyway, yeah, that's idea of the tournament was to be a bracket style tournament with tribes of worlds, and it would be to substitute the international tournament, which in 2023 did not exist as it existed in previous years. It was a classic round that they opened on the .NET server before, and they would just incentivize people from all over the world to go check it out and well, represent their own server to play against others, which is pretty cool. But I came up with this idea because it is more in my opinion it's better, right? Because if you deploy 1500 people onto a fucking classic world and all from different servers, well, maybe there will be 100 people from the Polish server playing together, and maybe there will be 5 people from the Italian server who will just get stomped, right? So I can't really say that it's an exactly fair tournament, or it is being played in a fair setting at all, since the number of players is a bit of a problem there, right? Number of players, diplomacies, all those things. In my opinion, they kind of ruined the game because they're not really strategic. That's debatable, right? And I plan on releasing a video talking about why I don't play Worlds, where I will talk about that and maybe create a debate with people, and we can generate some discussion in the comments at some point. But yeah, the idea of this was to have a few teams, minimum of 8, and they would just play private rounds, but the settings would not be the typical settings of speed tournaments. They wouldn't just be a low start. The settings would be decided by the players of each team. It would be a best of 3 every single match, so have to play, well, at least 2 matches, right? If one team just wins both of them. But the first round would be played on the settings of one tribe, the other round, the second, would be played on the settings of the other tribe, and then a third round tiebreaker. It would be played by it would be played in not random settings, but yes, random settings, exactly, but not like totally random, right? Random within the models that I have. So well, the speed sheet, you've seen it, random within these models. So the idea was pretty cool. It never really happened. Nothing was really done about this. Now it's literally impossible since I'm not anymore in this stuff. So yeah, the idea was nice. It was even announced in a lot of servers. I can go to a lot of servers and you can see the announcements. Tribalwars.us. Let's see. .us has an announcement. International World Stripes Tournament this year. In Spain as well, there is an announcement. Spain. I'm not going to go over all of them, but there's in Spain, there's in Russia, there's in UK, there's FR, there's in Hungary, there's in CH maybe. I'm not sure if he actually ever announced that. There is in .NET. Actually, I'm not sure. It is in the forum. I don't think so, but the forum. I mean, not many people look at the forum regardless. He did announce it on the Discord server, the community manager. So it was announced widely. And still, not many people showed interest, sadly. The second thing that I wanted to mention was another tournament. At this tournament, I think this idea was like very, very cute. Let's put it that way. I think it was very nice. And it's the Duck Hunt tournament. And this one, I really think the idea is really nice. However, still didn't captivate anyone to play. The idea of the tournament is that players could challenge me to a 1v1 in any setting with some restrictions. But some restrictions just to make it not totally luck based. So can't make a round without warbs, because if it's a round without warbs, it's completely luck based. Unless the player starts with more than 2 villages, then it's a bit more skill based. That's fine. And conquering barbs has to always be possible, so that people don't just put like a high start round where you can't conquer barbs. That would be weird. Like 1v1, one village, that's very luck based. So these settings would be to keep the rounds quite competitive, right? You could still come up with settings that I'm not very comfortable on. You could put like insane round settings, which is a round that starts with 1.3 million points and has like 2 barbs per player. This would be fine under these rules, and it could be done, right? So people could inevitably push me to play some settings that I'm less familiar with or that I'm less confident with, and people could win based off of that. That would be totally fine. Prize would be 50 premium per win, which is pretty nice, and there is a limit of how many matches you could play, but 1.5 matches per week, and this is until 14th of February. And I actually made the calculations. Let me see if I typed it here. I think I did. You could get more than 600 premium. I think I put 600 as like a minimum estimate, maybe. I think if you were to win all the rounds, you would get like 750, something like that. And this is not limited to one single player, right? It can be multiple players challenging me, so it's not just one single player getting this premium. So the idea was really nice. On duration, etc. Existing models can be used. Like, the idea was really cool. Although, of course, the rules, they are still here. And the idea was really nice. Really nice. But sadly, again, not even one single person messaged me asking to play this. I don't get it though. I really don't get it. Like, the idea is so nice, and it's not like you will instantly lose. It's not that at all. You could even be like a newbie world player, and you could come here with settings that I'm not very familiar with. You could make me play like a fucking let's say I don't know, a round where you have a very slow unit speed and you have like watchtower or something like that. That would be totally fine according to these settings. If there's some barbs or if there's a lot of village per player, like, you could make me play one of these settings. That would make me uncomfortable because I'm not a world player. I'm not very familiarized with like churches and watchtowers and shit like that. And I would have to play it, right? And it would be very interesting because, well, it's not an immediate thing that I will win. And yeah, that was the fun of it. And I really do think that this idea was actually pretty nice. The third thing, to conclude this part though, my plan right now, I'm out of the game totally, out of the support, and right now what I plan on doing is I want to in some way end this sheet that we began to make, settings of the rounds, having settings for all the models, brief description, full settings, and now I'm also trying to get the import code with some people who are still inside the support team, and this allows other support teams around the world to just come here, take this code, and import those settings. So that is really nice. If some other person from some support team around the world wants to use my work, right? Because I spent a lot of time doing all of this, and I did most of this by myself, and so, well, people might as well use it. I'm not going to be like, no, you can't use my work. I'm like, please use my work. It's like, I don't want to see all of this just go to waste. I've spent a lot of time doing this. So my goal right now is to make it usable, to just make it usable. So whoever still stays and is still a part of the team, or one team somewhere, can still do it. can still do it. Maybe the FR speed admin is watching this. If you want, I can just give you this, and it will be finished by the time you watch this, most likely. So you will have the import link for every single round, and that's really fucking cool, in my opinion. It's really fucking cool because this is gonna be 300 models. 300 models. That is fucking insane. Considering, let's say that every round is 3 hours or like 2 hours and a half. Let's say every round is so 120. 3 hours and a half would be 160. So 160 minutes times 300 rounds. It's 48,000 minutes. What's 48,000 minutes? D8 0 0 0 0. That's minutes. So divided by hours, there's 60. How many hours is this? 800. 800 hours. This would be 33 days of rounds non-stop, all with different rounds. 33 days non-stop, all with different rounds. You know how insane this shit is? Of course, there's rounds that are longer here. There's rounds that are not to be made very long as well. So it's not a correct average at all. It's not a correct average. But yeah, you can see how much this is. If you go look on the PT server, for example, there are like only a few rounds. It feels like it's always the same, like 15. Let's say 15. And if you put 15 times 3, 45. That's all. You only have 45 hours of different rounds. After those 45 hours, you always have to repeat yourself and play rounds that people know. In a way, that's kind of cool, because players will have practiced in those settings before, and players will know more or less how to play the round. But I also do believe that having more sort of randomized settings, which, I mean, they're not random. You can still go here and see the settings and what they are, so you can still adapt to it. But it's really cool, I believe, having this. So yeah, I don't want it to go to waste. And that is all. I will let you hear whatever conclusion I had made for the other video, and I will leave it at that. And honestly, that is about it. If you are a speed player that has watched this until the end, and you are still interested in speeds, I have a few things to tell you. First of all, well, thank you. That's the first, because, I mean, this is the first of some stories that I would like to tell. I mean, the Duck Story video is really the only other story. There's a video called Why I Don't Play Worlds in the Plan as well. I guess that's kind of a story. Guess you could consider it that. But others will be like more specific videos, like problems with speeds and problems with the game in general, and why things are going downhill, basically. So, well, just thank you for listening to all of this, if you even listened to all of this and not just skipped. Anyway, doesn't matter. Thank you. Second is, if you want to play the game, well, play it. The game is fun. But if you really want to make the game active and try to do something about it, well, you have to have a good speed admin and someone that is active and is willing to make changes that you ask to be made, and is willing to make your rounds that you would like to see at specific times. And I know that there are at least like 3, maybe 4 servers that are willing to do this. I mean, I obviously can mention the Italian server, which is where I am, clearly. But it's not even only about me at this point. There are other good community managers, not necessarily community managers, but speed admins out there that are willing to do great things for the players. In .uk you have Marcus. He is a really great guy, and he's willing to, well, do everything for the players. Sadly, the players don't ask for anything, though, or it's very rare. But he really is willing to do things, and he's a great guy. The French server, you also have Argumentum. He's great as well, and I can say I'm almost sure he's listening to this. So hi. Go ask him to make you some rounds, like talk to him. He's a really nice guy and he's willing to put in the time to help you, I'm sure. Like these people are all great. You also have the Hungarian server. I talk a lot to the Hungarian speed admin. He's a really nice guy and he moderates the rounds, which is good. But in that server, the server is a bit more dedicated towards longer rounds. I'm not sure it is like that every day. Because now it's been a bit more different, but most of the times it's longer rounds. If it's not like a 6-hour round, it will be like a fucking 3-day round. Like this one, 4 days. Most of them are very, very long rounds overall. So that's more the type of rounds some players may be looking at, and that's kind of what he invests into. But you can probably also talk to him, and I am sure he would be willing to take suggestions, obviously. So make your speed admin hyped. That is the first and most important thing you should consider if you really want to revive speeds. Because if you have a hyped speed admin, this has to be a player most of the times. I mean, the speed admin from UK and from .eu, they are not really players. Argumentum from France is, but I'm sure they would be more hyped if there were more people typing and trying to do things, and I'm sure they would try to do more things as well. So hype them up, ask them things, like literally ask them how to play the game, and they will teach you. Like ask them what settings are the best or what they think. I don't know, anything. Talk to them, make them feel like they are doing something here, because being a staff member in this game currently, it feels like it is a waste of time, especially if you are in a server. Well, not really if you are in a server, whatever, because all the servers are equally dead at this point, or almost. So just hype people up, because if you hype people up, you will have most of the times a positive response from these people, at least. I mean, you can see from this video that not all the people will react like us, right? In the beginning, you can see that. So be wise. Don't go to the fucking PT server and try to revive. It's impossible. I mean, I don't think it's impossible, but with the people that are there, it does feel impossible. I've tried way too long. Don't. I swear it's a mistake. But hype these people. Hype the people that you know you can count on, and if they are hyped, we can work on something together. We can maybe do a tournament, even like we can do everything, literally anything you may think about. But we need players. We need players. We need players to be hyped. We need players to be talking to us. We need players to show interest, and we don't have that. We don't. We just don't. So please, if you are interested, do that. Talk to speed admins. Don't talk just to me. I mean, I'm saying all of this. I know what I'm talking about, and it would obviously be great if someone came and messaged me asking for like a new model or for a specific round at a specific time, and like asking me doubts of things, and I will always talk to you. But me alone, I can't do anything. I really can't do anything, because I've tried. You can see that I've tried. So we need players. And how do you get players? You need to hype the community, the speed admins. You need to hype the other players. You need to create rivalries. You need to start like messaging people in the groups and saying, guys, I'm better than all of you. Come 1v1 me or something. You need to create activity. The players need to create activity, because at this point, I do not feel like I have the power to do so. If you are in the speed group, the international speed group, which I will leave in the description, by the way, you will see that it's pretty much dead. And I've been trying to do things. I have really been trying to do things, but it really feels like it's only decaying. The activity is only decaying, even though the number of people in the server is high. There's like 700 people, but they are all inactive. No one cares. I don't know if it's a matter of no one cares or if no one reads or anything. They're inactive. So they need to be pushed, and not only by me. They need to be pushed by people that need to learn how to play, people that want to learn how to play, people that are looking for friends to play with, people that want to play, people that want to have fun. And well, I can't say I'm not that person, right? I definitely do want to have fun and play the game, but I am not the the person that people are looking for. I'm pretty sure that if there was like 2-3 guys constantly like talking in the chats, like sending random memes, sending random prints of fights, things like that, other people would see it and they would be like, oh, well, let me join around and play against these guys and see how it goes. And maybe they would do the same as you. Maybe they would start playing more, start sending more prints, start doing more things, and with that, the community would scale and it would become bigger. And this is something that I will probably also talk about in other videos. I'm sorry, I will probably repeat myself a lot in these things because this is not planned. I'm not going by a script in any way, so it will probably happen. But that's what you can do as a player. If you got into here, if you are still here and you are interested in playing, do that. If you are not extremely interested in playing, or if you don't have the time simply to play, still be in the Discord server. Send some messages sometimes. Ask if people are there. If you have free time, ask people if they want to play a random round, even if it is like a 2v2 or a 3v3, something. Like, find players to play sometimes, like once a week, once a month, maybe even. Just keep people active, keep people looking forward to playing the game. That's what we need. We don't need people being toxic, obviously. That's something important. But we do need activity. We need players who want to play the game. And right now, that does not exist. And without an international community, which is what I've tried to build, it will not be possible to ever make big tournaments again. So that is what we need to do. And if you are listening to this, you probably have some interest in this game. We need to revive the Discord server. We need to get people in. We need to get people hyped to play. And that is all that we can do. That is all that we can hope for to happen, for the game to be revived. And that's all we can do as a group of people interested in this game. I'm already talking way too much. This is not what I meant this to be. But, well, it's not bad at all. And I think that is about that, honestly. I've given you a fair rundown of the things I've done, the reason why I got here, and, well, what can be done in the future and how things are going. So, I think this concludes the video for me. Well, I enjoyed doing it, I enjoyed talking about it, and I hope you enjoyed hearing about it. I really do. And, well, do let me know if you watched until here in the comments or something. I don't know. Let me know. It will be great to know that at least some people got here. But yeah, that is honestly about that. Go play Speed. It's fun. I'm not even joking. It's fun. It's fun. Kazala, if you are here, I know you are saying, no, it's not. It is fun. No, never mind. You were actually talking about wanting to play now. You're good. Anyway. Well, this is it from me. I'm out of here. I hope this was enjoyable to some extent, at least. And well, yeah, I hope it was not too boring sitting here listening to me talk for 1 hour and a half. I was not expecting for this to be 1 hour and a half. I really was not. But well, I hope you enjoyed it. And that's it. See you guys. Thank you for watching. If you got here, bye bye. We will see ourselves sometime soon, and stay looking forward to the videos, by the way, to the other videos. I have really cool things planned, really cool topics to discuss. I don't know when they are coming out. I don't know. I'm quite busy with university now. I managed to find some time to record this one, but it's not easy. But they will come out, so stay tuned for that. Before I start getting into any other project in any other game, I will finish these, because this is a big part of why I've been, at least until now. And yeah, but yeah, I'll stop coming up with new things to talk about. Bye bye guys. See ya. I hope you enjoyed.